It's been awesome to see over the last three episodes, both of the coaches kind of in action. We kind of heard Aaron's perspective a bit on McGregor's training sessions and his coaching. What was your take on it? Like, what are some of the things that you learned? I know, off air, we talked a little bit about some of the footage that kind of leaked, while you guys were filming. We got to see some of the training
Mhm.
sessions. From me, I was able to see you. It seemed like you were just kind of like always wanting to get in there, always wanting to learn. So I'm really curious to hear about your perspective on Connor's training style, his training sessions, and so on.
I think in the house, we didn't really get a good inside look of what his camp is typically like, just because, I mean, we're not there for a super, super long time like everyone thinks we are. I mean, it's still a good while, but it's not nearly enough time to have a true major impact on an athlete's career. All you can really
Yeah.
do is keep them in shape, keep them healthy, and keep them sharp, ready to go. So I think a lot of the work we were doing was more maintained, and it was still great though. It was great work, especially for me. I'm predominantly a southpaw, and getting to learn from the best southpaw to ever be in the UFC, man. Like, who could say no to that? Like, I was taking everything that I could possibly get from him. I would get it. Like, as you saw in my episode, I was asking him even the intangibles, like what's going through your head right before a fight. And the craziest thing to me was that we had something really similar. We had a really similar outlook on it. You got to let it be what it's supposed to be. You got to let it, like, whatever the moment is, let it take you. Like, that's the point. You're supposed to feel a little bit of anxiety. You're supposed to have a little bit of fear. Like, if you're not fighting scared, then like you're not you're like setting yourself up for failure, really. Because I feel like that little tiny bit of fear is what gets you fired up, and it's what just I tell people also it was really mentally intense, not as much physically intense. They didn't want to wear and tear our bodies. They wanted to build our mind and callous our mind. So it was cool.
That's awesome. I know, McGregor, he's a character. I'm sure you've had a lot of serious moments too. I think one of the funny things about this recent episode is the advice that he was given to Aaron McKenzie about the pain
Yeah.
balling up that pain into a fist and just tossing it out like a pebble. Was there anything memorable on your end? Any advice that he's given you, whether it's on air or off the air, that you'll kind of take with you into your career?
Bro, I promise you, he told me the exact same thing. They didn't show it, but I bumped my knee. Like, I tweaked my knee a couple days before my fight, and he had his massage therapist like working on it for me. And same thing. He told me the exact same thing, and I was like, "Oh, bet." But the crazy thing is, if you like look back at the Notorious movie, he literally fought with a blown out knee. So I mean, there has to be some truth to it. No, I mean, he literally did it himself. So how can I say it's not valid? I think that
No,
probably has to be the most
definitely. And
major one.
Yeah.
did you end up watching his newest Netflix docuseries, the
Yeah.
McGregor Forever one?
Yep. Yeah, I did.
Did what was your kind of take on it? Did you enjoy it as much as the Notorious documentary?
I don't know if anything could ever top the Notorious movie, man. It had a little bit more like it had more like of a negative perspective because it was all like the bad shit that was happening to Connor rather than the good shit. Like in
Hmm.
Notorious, you see the upcoming, like you see the rise up, you see him tenacious, and in this you see him he has it all, but he wants more. But life, you can never really know how life's gonna work itself out. Sometimes things are out of your control, no matter how famous you are or how powerful you are. Like, you can't force somebody to fight you. You can't force somebody to not retire. You can't force somebody to put you on the car that you're supposed to be on because they can't pay you. Like, there's a lot of shit in the play that people don't really get to see, and I'm glad that people got to see that aspect of his life, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows for people. Life is real. This shit's real. The fight game is real. Doesn't matter if you're rich or not. If you're really living this life, you're living this life.
Absolutely. And, kind of to wrap things up, like for you having Connor as a coach, being able to kind of see him on a more of a personal level than most people get to, you have any plans of going to Ireland at all on a private jet, going to get some training sessions out there, or what's up?
Hell yeah, bro. You already know. We have that locked in. We had that locked in since before I left, bro. Before I left. And what people don't know, so you know how he has proper 12? Obviously, like being famous isn't the only prerequisite you need to start up your own alcohol company. He partnered up with Jose Cuervo, who's a big deal, obviously, in the tequila world, and they're based out of Tequila, Mexico, which is only 45 minutes from where I train when I'm in Mexico. So he was like, "Hey, bro, if we're ever like if you're ever in Mexico, let me know. Like, let's ride out." And guess what? I'm going there this week to go train for the next few weeks. So I was like,
Let's
"Hey, bro, what's
go.
good? Pull up." Let me see. So if you see you see Connor rolling out there, bro, know what it is. You heard it here first. But I'm hoping he answers. I'm hoping he pulls up. That'd be cool.